Hello, hello. Welcome. Here we are with another class. Every Monday, I'm here. And today we're going to talk about something that I have mentioned many classes ago, though I feel it's something important to come back to. So we're going to talk about it today. And it's something that can completely transform everything. It's something that transformed my life, certainly. It's a question, a simple question, and this question can really help us to evaluate like what's important for us, like what's really important in our lives. Are we going about our life focusing on what we should, what we have to, what we feel obligated to do, what we feel that society wants us to do? Or are we focusing on our internal our internal expansive feeling of like, yeah, this is my path, this is what feels good, this is what resonates, this is something that I want to bring into my life. So this is something that I wanted to discuss today. First of all, let's just do a little check-in, like just wherever you are, just notice your breath, notice the ground beneath you. I use this so often in sessions, and it's such a simple practice of just really becoming aware of the ground beneath us, because so often we're running about and doing lots of things and have many different to-do things on the to-do list, or we've got kids to look after, or that there's many different things going on in our lives, and so often the energy and focus goes up to the head and we forget that there's this ground, there's this support always. And seeing the ground, like seeing it as this metaphor of, I love to have the image almost of like, if you so people have different names, different labels. I like to call nature Mother Earth, and I like to have this image of her holding her hands out, and then all of us human beings with the children, and we're being held. And of course, this is a metaphor. This is a wonderful way that we can really just sink into the present moment and to really feel like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't have to hold everything myself, because so often people are trying to like moving through struggles or feeling like they're alone. So many of my clients think that they're alone in challenges, and they're not. I listen to so many of the similar things in every session with different clients, very similar issues. And having this awareness of the ground beneath us, and having this awareness of the earth, and like whatever metaphor, whatever perspective you want to see it as, it can be so helpful, not only for anxiety, to really come back to the here and now, and to like everything comes down, everything drops down, everything, like all the energy, all the focus that's been up in the head, just like everything comes back down. And from there, it's like, oh, yeah, we can feel more relaxed. There we can feel more centered. There we can feel more grounded. And just remembering that this ground, this earth, is always there supporting us. And we can feel that support when we bring our presence and our awareness to that contact, whether that's our feet on the earth, whether that's like lying down on the earth, whether that's simply just thinking about it and like just slowing down the breath. All of these things can help, especially in a busy society that so many of us find themselves in. So the question that I wanted to focus on for today's class. So today's class, I wanted to talk about a question. What did you love doing as a child? Now, I've asked this before in other classes, and if you've heard this before, you may think, oh yeah, I know this. Just notice what comes up. If you haven't heard this before, just notice what comes up also. Like, how would you respond to that? How would you respond to that question? What did you love doing as a child? What did you love doing as a child? And for some people, that might be playing with Barbie dolls or trucks or tractors or or like dragons, or like imaginary play, or painting, or drawing, or dancing, like many different things. And the reason why this question is so powerful is that it really helps us to connect with our core essence, like what our soul really loves and what it feels lit up doing. And it doesn't necessarily mean, like, so for example, if someone loved playing with dolls, doesn't mean that the answer is to play with dolls as an adult. If you want to, by all means, go for it. Though the whole point of this question is just really becoming aware of, okay, like what is the essence in that? What's the essence in that? Was it some kind of expression? Like, was it singing or dancing? Was it about the expression, expressing yourself? Was it about being in nature, like some form of connection? Was it connecting with others, like being in groups and having that? Was it being with colors and or like sound? Like, notice what senses were involved. Notice what the core threads are of those activities that you loved doing as a child, and like what is it really about? Like what's the core essence there? And just get curious about this. And you can pop it in the comment section. I'd love to hear. And I asked myself this question years ago. I was going through a very tough time, and a friend passed away. Also, I felt very hurt and betrayed by another friend. And there was a lot of friendship challenges at that time. There were many different things I was going through. I was feeling very lost and confused, and felt very, that things were just really challenging, and I just didn't know what to do. And I was also questioning my work. I was questioning what I was doing. Should I continue? Should I not? Should I do something else? And I didn't know what to do. So I asked myself that question: what did I love doing as a child? And it was that creative expression. It's the dancing and the painting. So what I did is I booked myself onto dance training, which then led to many other trainings after that. And then also I got the paints out, as you can see behind me, all the paints, and just started coming back to that creative essence and that creative expression, because that had been shoved in a box and put to one side and forgotten about for many years. And no wonder I was feeling lost and confused and depleted and lacking of energy and vitality and feeling burnt out and all these different things I was feeling at that time. And it was through the dance, especially the physical movement, that really helped me get back onto my feet, helped me reconnect to myself and reconnect to the joy of life. So this question can be really powerful, really powerful. And just notice what comes up after that. So there's the thing that we love doing as a child, finding out what that core essence is. And then, like, okay, how can I start bringing this into my life? And just notice what thoughts pop up. Notice what thoughts pop up straight away afterwards, because it's really interesting. Sometimes the inner critic will come in and say, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I need to focus on work, I need to do this, I've got the kids, I've got, like, whatever the excuses are. Notice if the thoughts are finding reasons and excuses why you can't do something, then that's the fear talking. If you're finding excuses and reasons, notice the first letter of each of those words: finding, excuses, and reasons. That spells out fear. So that's fear talking. So if we're saying, I don't have the money, I can't do it, blah, 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 like whatever the inner critic is saying, which is very common, this comes up a lot. And often what happens is the inner critic loves to stay in its comfort zone. It knows what's familiar, and anything outside of that is like, oh, no, no, no. And sometimes its greatest fear is actually shining bright and really living a happy and fulfilled life. and it feels comfortable being in this little box that perhaps we put ourselves in through different childhood traumas or experiences that we went through. So just noticing that and getting curious, and with tenderness, gentleness, tenderness, kindness, be like, okay, is that really true? Is that really true? Is it really about the time? Is it really about the money? Is it really about whatever the excuse is? Because often it's not. I've heard so many excuses and reasons from clients over the years, and there'll be one saying like, oh, I don't have the money, and then I will see them go on holiday like a month later, or I don't have the time, but then they have time to scroll on social media, and they'll be there looking at everything that you're posting. So I've seen this, and I've also witnessed it in friends, family, and also in myself. This is very interesting to pay attention and really get curious. But like, okay, yeah, what's actually behind this? Is it really about the time? Is it really about the money? Because often we get stuck in this little box that we put ourselves in. I remember once a long time ago that there was a friend making up excuses about well, I don't want to go into too many details, but they were making up excuses in terms of money. And then a circumstance changed and they had the possibility to get something for free, and yet the excuse was still there. They were still holding on to it. It's because they had this belief system that it needs to be difficult, it needs to be like that. And it's, yeah, and then it's just interesting. It's cute. Like we can start unraveling things by getting curious. Like first it's the awareness and the curiosity, like just really getting, well, first comes the curiosity and then we get awareness from that. It's like, okay, yeah, what's behind that? Is it really about the money? Is it really about the time? Isn't it more about priorities? Isn't it more about priorities? And our unconscious mind drives so much of our behavior. So whatever we are doing is according to whatever the unconscious mind is focused on and whatever unmet needs the unconscious mind is trying to fill. So the unconscious mind is constantly looking, how can I feel more love? How can I feel more significant? How can I feel safe? How can I, all the different needs. So like those are the three big ones, like the safety and the love and the significance. But we might not be aware of this consciously most of the time, but often what's happening is that we're saying certain things, behaving in certain ways, carrying out different habits, continuing patterns, like making choices according to what fills those needs. And often, like if there's some limiting belief held within the unconscious mind, believing that you can't get love in a certain way, or you can't feel significant in a certain way, or that you need certain things in order to fill those needs, then it becomes limiting. And this is something I work on when I work with values with clients, is that really uncovering like what beliefs do they have about certain values, because the beliefs about the values really determine how much they feel that and how much they feel fulfilled in that. If they're believing that there's only one way to get that, then they're blocking out all the evidence in their life of where they're receiving that already. So for example, the most common one, love and belonging, like people wanting to feel that sense of love and belonging. And so often, like there'll be this desire or this want or need that, oh, I want to have a relationship, or I want to have more like connection with family or friends, or like whatever it is, but wanting more love and belonging in their life. And it's interesting just to notice what comes up with this, and interesting to notice how all the little ways that person, or in this case, this is very common. This is, and I've also experienced this myself. It's like, this is something that virtually every single person has done at some point, unless you're like Dalai Lama or someone, someone like that. Is like how, like noticing all the little ways that love and belonging is pushed away, just to reaffirm the beliefs that are held within the unconscious mind. So, for example, when someone gives a compliment, do we fully receive that? Because a compliment is an offering of love. Do we fully receive that? Or do we brush it off, be like, oh no, oh yeah, no, this is nothing, or just kind of like brushing it away and saying that not fully receiving that compliment from someone. Yet on another hand, we're looking for love and belonging. So it's like, oh, interesting. There are ways that I'm pushing love away, and yet I'm trying to fill that need. So what if I can start being more aware of all the little ways that love is already in my life? Perhaps someone is kind in the shop. Perhaps someone smiles to you. Perhaps someone opens the door for you. Perhaps someone gives a compliment. Perhaps a friend reaches out. All these little ways, and the mind often is so focused on, I need it in this way, or it can only be in this way in order to feel that. So with curiosity and really exploring and opening up to all the wonderful ways that love is there. I'm using love and belonging as an example, but this can be applied to all the other needs and values that we have. It's really interesting just to know that and be like, okay, yes. I wonder what changes when I start accepting compliments. And even if it feels a bit uncomfortable, even if we don't fully believe it, if someone says we're beautiful, or someone compliments us on some work that we've done, or whatever, if we don't fully believe that, just say thank you first. Say thank you. And the more you start saying thank you, the more you'll start opening up to receiving it fully and believing it. So I bring up this because we can learn so much about ourselves and so much about others through curiosity. Like, first with that question, what did I love doing as a child? What was the very essence of that? How can I bring in more of that into my life? And notice, are there excuses that come up? Are you finding reasons why you can't do that? Notice what's behind that. What are you prioritizing? What are you not? What do you truly value in your life? Often when people talk about values, they talk about their conscious values, what they consciously think their values are. If you really want to know your values, look at your behavior. Look at what you're doing. That shows the true values, the unconscious values. So yeah, and then noticing with those values, are there any ways that you're limiting yourself? Any ways that you're limiting yourself and really pushing certain things away when actually you could open up to receiving that, to feel that even more, to feel even more fulfilled, and then everything else along that chain transforms also. It's almost like you throw a stone into the lake, and then those ripples go out, and it affects all areas of your life, creates an impact on all areas. So I'd love to hear, like, what did you love doing as a child? What was your favorite thing, and what's the essence behind that? Like, what's the core essence behind that? And can you bring in some more of that into your life? Can you bring in some more? And if you notice any excuses, are you finding excuses and reasons why? Get curious. What's behind that? What are you really prioritizing? And you can start off small. It doesn't mean that you have to completely go from 0 to 100. Some people want complete transformation and they want to do it now, and they're happy to do that. Great. And for other people, it's a step-by-step process. And sometimes that's the most easy to digest way to create change in their life. And you can just find practical ways. I'm really a big fan of doing things practically. It's great to talk and discuss things, though it's in the practical element really helps to integrate. And I feel that this is often when sometimes some therapeutic practices fall short, where there's not that practical reinforcement or homework or something that the client does after the session to really reinforce that. And that's really important. It's all very well to talk about things, but get practical. Find ways that you can bring that into your life. So, for example, if it was, so my example, as I mentioned before, dancing was one of them. So I signed up to a dance class. Doesn't mean that you have to do the same or that you need to join a dance class, but that's one option. For some people, it might be having a photo or having a picture of them dancing when they were little and placing it somewhere on their wall that they can see it every day. Whatever's within our environment, the unconscious mind is always picking up on that. Whether we're consciously focused on it and looking at it, though even just having it within our vicinity and like within our environment, we're picking up on that unconsciously. For some people, it could be even just like bringing a little bit more of creativity, a bit more play into their lives. So like how can you bring in some play? There are so many different ways for this. One way that I have is like I have next to my desk, I have a trampoline, like a little mini trampoline, which really helps with health and well-being. And also, like if I'm spending a long time on the computer, I just step off, bounce a little, and come back. Though it's also a great way to come back to that play, come back to the inner child, to bounce around. There are so many different ways. I love to hear you like brainstorm in the chat and just really like find out like what ways do you think that you can bring in that essence, that thing that you loved as a child, like bring in more of that into your life. If it's song, if it's singing, perhaps there's a singing class you can join. Perhaps there's a group singing class that you can join. Or perhaps there's some time that you can sing at home, or even just when you're washing the dishes, or tending some things in the house, hoovering, cleaning. That you put some music on and you sing. Also, there are many different ways that we can go about things. So that's a little class for today, but actually we've covered a lot. I mean, just what I've talked about in this class alone can be completely transformational for some people and make a massive shift. It certainly did in my life. But coming back to the dance, coming back to the creativity, it then led to the creation of Creating Change, which is the group training that I was doing. And then also it's just led to so many other things. And now I offer dance classes as well. So there's many things that have come from that. And dance has been one of the biggest healers for me, amongst many other things, obviously, NLP, hypnosis, all these other modalities that I've been using over the years. Though dance has been one of the big ones that's really helped me to reconnect, come back to the body, wake up to the magic of life, and to really heal trauma. It really helped with healing trauma as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'd just like to give a quick update on what's coming up. So next week, so not this week, but the following week, it's on the 18th of April. I have a women's circle in Barcelona. So if you're a woman, if you're in Barcelona, you want to join us, then on the 18th, we're going to be talking all about abundance and money. So this is a big topic for many people, and it's a chance to really like connect with okay, like what's our relationship with money? What have been the struggles? What have been the challenges? Has it been easy? Has it been difficult? For most people, it's been challenging. And we're going to talk about, the relationship with money and abundance in general in life. And also, I will offer a guided NLP visualization as well to really work with the unconscious mind and to really reinforce some positive beliefs about money and abundance. So that's a good one to join. So that's on the 18th of April on Thursday evening at 6:30, and that'll be at Artemis Women's Health Centre in Barcelona. So I'll pop all the links in the description of this video, and you can find out more. You can message me if you have any questions. And also, I wanted to share exciting news that I've literally just this week joined Insight Timer. It's been a long time coming. I've had many people asking over the years, and it was like, oh, another thing on the to-do list, because it's like I feel like I'm everywhere. I'm on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, or everywhere. But I'm now on Insight Timer. So if you use Insight Timer, then check me out there. I've got a couple of talks up for free. Insight Timer is a great app. It's free meditations and anyone can listen. But there's also the paid version if you want access to more things. But you don't need to pay if you just want to get the basics. And I put some free talks on there. One is talking about how to cultivate self-tenderness, and another talk is about the secret to making affirmations work and what most people forget. That's an important one. So that's on Insight Timer. Again, I'll put the link in the description once I finish this call. And the response has just been amazing. I mean, if you check it out, then please do go and follow, and because it's a new account, so I've literally got not many people there at the moment, but it'll be lovely to have you connecting with me there if you use the app. And if you don't use the app, check it out. But I've had many messages from people, like when I announced it on Instagram, like so many people responding saying, yeah, well done, finally, is something that people have been asking for. So finally on Insight Timer, and there'll be some guided visualizations to come. I'm working on a few things, so plenty more things to come, and maybe at some point the podcast for season 2. Let's see. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being you, as always. And I'll be back next week at 7. Much love.